Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. And I'm just going to check who's here. And morning, Peter. And Peter join us. Stephen's going to be with us about 10:30, and hopefully John will arrive too. And Peter is loading. And good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Strange. Don't know what like today. Don't know what like today. Not feeling full of pizzazz this morning.
Right. Not full of beans.
No. I'm just. Yeah. Strange night. My partner's away from home for a few days, and I can't sleep when she's not here. And so, and I ate too much yesterday with my diabetes, and it's kind of had a knock-on effect this morning. So it's not nice to have diabetes. No, I'm just seeing us two on screen. There's just the twos, and it's filling up my whole screen on my iPad. Is that
yes
happen?
It is, yeah. When there are just two of us here, then it goes full screen. The more people that join in, the smaller the pictures will get.
Right, and then what about seeing what's being written? All right, I can see that on the side.
Yeah.
Two. Right. Okay. But business-wise, quite a good morning. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
Right. We'll wait a couple of minutes for John and see what happens. Or we can make a start. Shall we make a start?
Yeah.
It's you and I. Okay. Good morning and welcome to Blabbing for Britain. It's Thursday and this is episode 42. And Peter's got his coffee and I've got my coffee. No brands. And
not getting to see that brand.
Right. Okay. Now, first topic I've got today is do you ever watch the last night of the Proms?
Not the whole thing, but I do like it in the end.
Oh yeah. I mean it's a spectacle, isn't it? I mean, it's a celebration of Britain, and there's a furore at the moment because some Europeans or pro-Europeans are actually handing out flags, European flags, for people to take in.
No, you see that is just actually getting just a bit too far, right? It's a traditional British thing that's went on for years and years and years, right? So why are they doing this? Why? This is what causes problems. It could have not just left it alone.
Yeah.
And absolutely ridiculous. Because I'll tell you what, they wouldn't like us going over there and handing out British flags, would they?
No. I mean, it is a British night. It always has been a celebration of being British. Morning, John.
Good morning.
We're talking about the last night, the Proms, and people are planning to have many European flags shown. And as Peter says, it goes against what the event stands for. I mean, Land of Hope and Glory and Royal Britannia and a whole range of it's a celebration of British music and composers.
Yeah, I think it's gone downhill since the loss of Sir Malcolm Sargent, but I know what you mean. I'm afraid I'm very pro staying in, so I'm in for anything that advertises staying in the EU, but perhaps that's one event that may be just a step too far.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, it is a celebration of Britain, and to make it political, not a good idea at all. Anyway, let's go back up to Scotland, and Andy Murray is in the US. Well, he's not made it through to the quarterfinals. That's the first time he's not done it this year. You can have an off day occasionally in sport, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the things like that's a good thing, because if you're listen, I went out once when I was doing sales, right? and I got 17 sales on the row, 17. And every time the sales manager would say to me, "Did you get another one?" And the pressure was me for the rest of the team to get that 18th, and 19th, and 20th. And I was actually looking for a no, right? So I could get everybody off my back. And it was a relief to walk in. "Did you get it?" I go, "No."
Yeah. Yeah.
Says, "I've just got 17. Be happy with your lot just now."
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the world's best tennis players. And John?
Me, I can't stand tennis.
Okay.
Tennis is almost as bad as cricket, but not quite as bad as cricket.
Okay.
But
Right. Okay.
I think, you know, up Andy Murray and all the rest of that, but am I bothered? No.
Yeah, I mean, it is sport in general is good. I mean, we've now got the start of the Paralympics, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's being broadcast on Channel 4 as opposed to BBC One, so we'll have a smaller audience, but it is attracting. Well, we've got 260 athletes over there, and it is a celebration, isn't it?
Have you seen the video of the Australian giving the rah-rah speech to our team?
No.
Oh, you must find it. I'm sure a search will find it quickly. But several people posted it on Facebook last night. It's actually pretty damn good. Where he invites them to piss off the Aussie. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And he makes several promises because it's the guy that I can't think of his bloody name, but he has a false leg.
Yeah.
He has a prosthesis leg, and he promised to paint the name of all the people who win gold medals on his leg, and he also then promised that if they got more than so much, he'd have cut his hair back and then have a Union Jack dyed in his hair. And then he promised if the touch rugby team, he'd have the same done but down under. And it was very good, but it was an Australian motivating the British team, which was quite different, shall we say.
Is it the guy who broadcasts on chat shows and what have you?
Yeah, he does a program with that comedian that sounds like a schoolboy. Not that I have to say too much because I do as well. And the guy with Alec who had the thalidomide, so he doesn't have any proper hands and they're very short arms. And can I think of the name of it?
It'll come to you. It'll come to you. Right.
It was really interesting to see because you panned around the audience as well. So
yeah. Right. Staying with sport, Formula One. It's been sold, and it's been sold to an American group.
Same people who own Virgin Media.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Do you think it's good that they're buying it, or?
Well, he's not going to last all that much longer, is he?
Well, Bernie Eccleston is 85, isn't he?
Sorry?
Yeah.
And they've retained him for 4 years.
Yeah.
The thing is, you make the contacts, and they're looking for a younger crowd, and because it's actually quite an older crowd that like Formula One. I don't watch it because in TV you just look at a corner and a car goes past the corner. You know, that's how I see. Yeah.
Well, I'm just hoping that they don't turn it into Indy and have circular or oval tracks, because the tracks that we have at the moment across Europe are they're all different. They're all fascinating. I mean, I love the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, the company that have bought them, by the way, are bigger in Europe than they are in the US.
Oh, good. Well, that's it. That bodes well then.
And their European headquarters is in Birmingham. So.
Yeah. But it is a sport and an industry, because the industry is mainly British, isn't it? All the cars are designed in the majority of the cars are designed in the UK, and it's a great advertisement for McLaren and Ferrari and Honda. And
I mean, is it actually such a big sport? Who's watching it? I don't see people. I don't watch it. You know, because it's just cars going round a corner to me. But, I don't,
But it's like cricket. It's about what happens off the thing as well. People have parties, don't they? You know.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean,
Parties.
Yeah, I mean,
it
changed in this country when Sky got the rights to it, and they're running so many races on the BBC now, and that obviously is going to drop the audience. But it is a very popular sport, and it's a multi-million-dollar sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The brand advertising on there.
Yeah, somebody's obviously watching it, and it ain't me.
It ain't me, Alan.
Right. No.
Oh, good.
So, how much time?
Right. I tell you what. I love watching motor racing and tennis and cricket. So I'm not going to talk about those for the moment. Let's have a new topic then.
Right. Okay.
Where shall we go?
How's a controversial one? You maybe don't want. Black Lives Matter.
Okay. Yeah.
Every life matters.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To go on a tarmac. Was it Black Lives Matter went on the tarmac?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
But did I not see something about it being environmental? No. Okay. But why a city airport? Why do that? Why make the public suffer?
Well, they did it to Birmingham Airport about 4 weeks ago. They blocked the entrance to Birmingham Airport.
Right. Okay. So what do you think should be done to them?
They should all be arrested and put in prison.
Yeah. It's you can't just pick a cause and fight for it illegally. If you're going to promote a cause, you've got to do it legally. And John, I agree with John.
Yeah.
They should feel the force of the law. I mean, the thing that I don't understand, I've got to be honest here, I don't know what you feel, but we've got pretty good race relations in the UK.
Much better than America.
Yeah, we're integrated. I mean, you can go into any city and you can see sections which are Pakistani, sections which are Chinese, sections which are, you know, but generally as a people, you know, we're pretty well integrated.
Well, I think we can. Well, but how's the thing? See all this knife crime and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I believe there's quite a lot of black and black stabbings and things, right? Do you know what they done in Glasgow many years ago when it was the Glasgow razor gangs? They used to have the cutthroat razors.
Yeah.
There was one judge put an end to it, and he told them how many years they were going to get if they carried it. And the first one up got hammered, and the next one got hammered. And they soon learned a lesson. Hey, this guy's being serious. Not this 3 strikes and you're out. Say, no, listen, you're going to get 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years without measure. Who's first? Who's first? Get him in there. Off you go. And that's the way to deal with it. Then put a stop to it and say, this guy's being serious. Or do you not agree with that, John?
Mate, well, we have an area of Birmingham which is at night a no-go area if you're white.
Yes.
I even worry about driving down the main road through it. It's an area called Soho/Handsworth.
Right.
And there's lots of shootings and stabbings and things down there.
Right.
But they all get a little tap on the wrist when they end up in court.
Right. So, and how often are the police allowed to go there, or have they asked for?
Well, funny enough, there's quite a huge police station right in the middle of it. But guess what?
Wow.
The front desk isn't open at night because no front desks are open at night in the West Midlands police area.
It's quite interesting that, because I'm a sort of guy, when I lived in London, I'm a sort of guy that would think nothing of going into that area, right? If I didn't know about it, I would think nothing about walking down the street, because when I was in London, a guy said, don't go into that area at night, Peter. I said, why not? He says, you'll get stabbed, you'll get... I says, oh, that was so stupid. And I'm the sort of guy that would just walk in and say, hi, how are you doing? And stuff like that. That's how easy going I am at times. And if you're not living there, you don't know. You just don't know. So you wouldn't go down walking there then?
Well, it's on the A34 heading north, And basically, as soon as you hit an area called Newtown, there's on the right hand side, there's the giant post office sorting. It is giant because it sorts all the post from Redditch up through Staffordshire and across. All goes to the one sorting office now. And on the other side of the road is a McDonald's. The McDonald's has had at least 9 shooting and stabbing incidents in the last 2 years.
Right.
It's that bad that McDonald's are considering shutting it.
Wow. Why is that allowed to happen?
I wish I knew the answer. It's the same piece of road that several years ago 2 young ladies were shot at a New Year's Eve party.
I remember that.
Murdered. Just behind the Saddam Hussein Mosque.
Is there a Saddam Hussein Mosque there?
Sorry?
Is there a Saddam Hussein?
Well, it's not called that anymore, but Saddam Hussein paid for it, so it was called the Saddam Hussein Mosque.
So it just goes to show. Hey, why don't we, when we're talking about discipline, what about school uniforms?
This is my post of yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it, John. I hold back.
Where I accused Peter of it having them all march in order around the playground. I'm sorry, I just felt that particular head was being ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. But how's the thing? I've been looking at this. When I was a young at school, my mum had to go and get a uniform to go to the school, and they went the uniforms up. Now, so everybody's the same, and they're complaining about the price of stuff. I'll guarantee you, most of that teenagers wouldn't go to Tesco's and buy their shoes for going out the night. They'd be demanding over £100 trainers, £200 trainers. Right? How's the difference?
There was more of an issue that perhaps you haven't picked up on, Peter, in that in this school uniform edict, which was issued by the website, and I did put the link into it, not sent out to the parents, but just put on the website, and they were expected to read the website over the summer holiday without any prompting.
Well, yes.
And what got me was at the bottom, he says, and you will buy your kit from here.
Well, that's kind of a problem, yeah.
We had the same problem when my 3 all went to the same senior school.
Yeah.
Only one approved supplier.
Well, there should be more than one.
It was the same back
when I said to the headmistress, do you get a kickback? She went, yes.
You are joking.
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, that's not on. That is not on.
No. It's true back in my day as well. The school uniforms came from 1 of 2 shops in town. That was it. There was no choice. Well, a choice between the 2, but because I mean, I'm in favour of school uniforms, and because it does give everybody the same look, and it's I think it's better. But it was pointed out to me last night that if you're looking for uniformity and for everybody to look the same, then it doesn't work, because the richer kids get their uniforms cleaned every week. And the not so rich kids turn up looking like they've been dragged through a hedge backwards, whether they're wearing. Sorry,
I'm just going to take up what you say. There was a fantastic art. You know, when you post this, make a post on a topic, you get 3 suggested articles underneath. The top suggested article was about washing machines installed in schools in Chicago. I think it was.
Right.
And a school suffered quite a high dropout rate of very poor and poor financially, not poor student-wise, people. And when the head went round, she went round and she discovered that these kids didn't come to school, not because they didn't want to, but simply they did not have clean clothes.
Quite interesting.
She contacted one of the big name manufacturers of washers and dryers over there, and they installed free of charge a washer dryer that the kids could have access to in the school.
Right.
This improved the attendance rate amongst this sector quite dramatically, because they could come in one set of clothes, and whilst they were there, could have their clothes cleaned. Because part of the issue she discovered was that parents had to buy food before they bought detergent.
Right. Okay.
So the detergent and the washing machine were provided free of charge at the school.
Well,
the feedback was so good that the manufacturer installed more washing machines in schools in the areas as well, free of charge.
Right. Okay.
To improve the education level in that area by installing washing machines.
This has just made me think of something. Do you remember Levi's stay press trousers?
I certainly do.
Right, now.
Nice shiny things.
I had a pair of ice blue ones, but the problem was we were poor. Still am poor. And I had only there. Now, I had these ice blue ones, and I wore them to school every day, but guess what? I had to wash them every so I had to wash them myself.
Yep.
I had to keep washing them so I could stay with the in crowd. Because if you didn't wear these and say, oh, he can't afford them. Now, if a uniform had been made to be worn, they wouldn't have had that problem. But trying to keep up with your peers is because I've got a wardrobe full of clothes, and my partner does or not, and her daughter come round and she says, "Why has Peter got so many clothes?" And I said, "You see, when I was a kid, I said I had one pair of trousers."
Yeah.
And that's why I've got a lot of clothes, because I'll buy clothes because I want to buy clothes and make sure I've got clothes. I've got clothes everywhere because I didn't get them as a kid. And it stuck with me. And I brought home the Levi's stay press. I wish now I had got black ones, but they were a very nice trouser with it.
My wife said to me the other day, "Do you realise you've got 37 pairs of trousers hanging on that rail?" And she said, "I've looked at them." She said, "I reckon you can only get in 7 of them."
Well,
you know what? There's one pair with a 32 waist, and I definitely can't get in them because 42 waist.
I used to be up to about a 40 waist at one stage, and I kept some jackets and things, and it was amazing trying them on. And so I think I'll keep a couple to remind me of that. And it was quite amazing. So yeah, so I've been up and down all my life, but I've sat 32 for a while now, so I'm really happy about that.
I had 32 waist when we got married nearly 35 years ago. It's definitely at least 10 inches bigger these days.
I'm glad I stayed 32. I'm very proud of that. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm happy where I am as well. Not quite where I was many years ago, but I am pretty close. And the walking keeps us fit, and the cycling as well, and the allotmenteering. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, keeping on we'll change the theme entirely. There's a report going to be published today which says that Parliament needs refurbishing for the cost of £4 billion, and that the MPs will have to move out for 6 years.
Well, is it in danger of crumbling down?
It is, yeah.
Is it a health and safety concern?
They've got leaks, they've got faulty wiring, they've got pipes laid on top of pipes.
Is it time to distribute Parliament? Are you? Let's have them all log in by video. One big video session.
Well, that would be a great driver for somebody to come up with a 600-seat video, wouldn't it? But no,
you'd only need the 600 seats once or twice a year.
Well, once a week.
The average attendance is about 45, isn't it?
I think we've got to keep our traditions. It's long established. It's a building as well. People will come to look at that building over the years as part of the tourist scene, and look how much they spent in the Scottish Parliament. So there you go. So I mean, I think it's traditional. It's got to be kept there, just like Buckingham Palace. It's part of our tradition to go on for years and years and years, and I think it's got to be done. I think they should look at the costs and get obviously the best price, but I don't think they should move out.
Well, what they were going to do, the original plan was that they would work around them, and they were to stay in situ. But the report that's coming out today will say that's not feasible and would cost a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
So they've got to find somewhere to move to. So
just like Brussels, once a year when they pack up. Did you know about that? Did you see that video?
Strasbourg, yeah.
And then, was it once a year they've got to go somewhere? I don't know the reason for that again, but they've got to move out of the European Parliament, and look how much it cost, because it was a video. But from there to there,
they move that every fortnight, don't they?
Yeah.
Like and everybody and all the stuff's transferred. What a blooming joke! What a joke! No, that is a waste of money.
Oh, I think we all agree on that. Yeah.
But a lot of European MPs think that's a waste of money as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's currently in their constitution.
So we send our MPs to Strasbourg because they could use it 3 weeks out of 4 because it's empty.
Take a loan of it.
Yeah.
So much that costs.
That might just work. You never know.
So incidentally, how many people are here? Is there people
Just
watching?
3 of us.
There's the three of us logged in, and we don't know how many not logged in. We had 30 people watching us last week. Logged in and not logged in.
During it. Just to let you know,
yeah.
I was up to see Fraser.
Oh, brilliant.
Up to meet him.
Yeah. How many people were there?
There was a few, not as many as I thought, but it's an area that's not a lot of population. Yeah?
Okay.
So it was enough to get the message across, you know. Right. So we're going to have a little discussion of maybe what to do in the future together, you know.
It looked very well organised.
Yeah. You got a message across, and I was well received. I sat at the back and try to keep a lower profile, but I had a chat with people, and it just shows you how much I've actually learned myself. Some new businesses out there, and wow, it's quite interesting.
We take what we know for granted, don't we?
But absolutely do, because he worked out for me what I know money wise, and I'm worth £1 million with what I know,
Yep. So
I'm actually giving a talk next week about outsourcing for small business as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's
where's that?
It's in Aberdeen. It's we're doing it as a health and safety guy, and then there's Alan McInnes, which is that's him, and then there's an HR guy, and we're getting some small businesses together through the bank.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be talking about how I outsource most of my stuff in my business, in order to move on. As I say, even sitting here today, my calls are answered for me, unless they phone me direct, which I don't like anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's time now to share knowledge with small businesses and help them now. That's what I feel my kind of destiny is for the future, helping businesses, what I know.
And the banks are getting pretty good at arranging events, aren't they?
Well, I arranged this one as far as I went to the bank and says,
right, okay, yep.
Can you sponsor this?
All right.
And so done that, and it's no problem. This is through my BNI club, because the bank's there, and they're going to sponsor it, putting on the room, etc. And we'll see how it goes and see how we can develop it. Right, here's a question for you.
Yep.
Is telemarketing dead?
John.
Don't do any, so I don't know.
I don't either. So, I mean, this is the closest I get to telemarketing is video. No, I don't know. I mean, you mean Caretel and things like that?
Pardon?
Can you give us a brand that you're thinking of, and we'll promote them?
Wait. No. What I'm on about telemarketing is for business. Is telemarketing a thing of the past?
I still get lots of incoming calls.
Yes. Who from? What type of people?
Indians and Chinese people mainly.
Okay, right. Do you get serious business, local business calling you?
No.
Good, because I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Because guess what? I'm going to go and get that wheel invented again. 3 times I've done it.
Yeah.
50 letters, 50 phone calls, 30 appointments.
Brilliant.
That's done. Told you. Hold on, I'll take this.
He's off telemarketing. That's a hell of a response, isn't it? The right place, right time.
Having the right need, isn't it? If you're telemarketing 30 restaurants about the need for his services, I think he's got a high chance because of the current strictness.
Yeah.
You know, in Birmingham, you have to display a 1 to 5 star rating given to you by the local authority on the door or in the window adjacent to the door. Whether it's takeaway or eating. So I guess that rating is pretty important, because if you get 1 star, and do you know who got 1 star recently?
Who?
What's that French, Italian name chef from Leeds who's not really Italian?
You've got me now. I
Marco,
know.
yeah, right.
Marco. Oh, right. Okay.
Restaurant got 1 star.
Oh dear.
It got into the local paper, and boom, overnight it fell.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is in the mailbox, the most prestige place in Birmingham.
It is. It is. I've been there many a time to networking events. Beautiful place. I mean, it's just out of the centre, isn't it? Just outside the centre.
Well, it's opposite. Grand Central Station. What we all call New Street Station, but it's now called Grand Central Station.
But nobody can get used to the name.
Have you seen it?
I've seen photographs of it.
It's a hideous carbuncle of mirror.
Oh, they spent all these millions of pounds on upgrading the railway station, and
the railway station itself isn't too bad. It's what's sitting on top of the railway station that's hideous.
Okay. Yeah,
it's like I mean, Selfridges was quite original with the discs. Yeah,
that's right.
At the kidney shape. This tries to look like it, but not look like it by having a mirrored outer, and it sits on top of what is still, at the end of the day, a concrete railway station. And giant Grand Central posted on the mirror background, and it's horrible. Inside's not bad, but externally, I just think it's horrible. Incidentally, I just posted. First of all, it wasn't Chicago; it was St. Louis.
Okay.
And I've just posted the article about the washing machine solves school attendance problems into the live chat area.
Right. Okay. I'm going to the live chat now, and just segue into our little tech bit. I used SmileTime twice this week, and the results were very impressive. I wanted to show Dan Nelson, who may join us this morning, what could be done on SmileTime, because he's looking for an audience. Obviously, he's marketing. He wants to market.
Dan the chocolate man.
Yeah, he wants.
I thought you said Nelson, not Nolson.
Sorry, Nolson. Yeah. It's the Lancashire accent coming through. I want to show Dan all about SmileTime, because you can reach an audience on Facebook. So we did the experimentation, and we went live on air, and we were just planning the show, and we got an amazing response. Over 250 people watched the video, and 50 people actually posted on the Facebook page. So it's just incredible to get such an interaction. Now, normally I sit back and I think, well, you know, what's going to happen about that? But resulting in anything, I am here to say that it did. On Saturday, I'm going to put the link here. The place, yeah. I'm interviewing a musician.
What kind of musician?
Well, it's not my era. Let's put it this way. I'm going totally out of my comfort zone. If you look at the YouTube video, you'll see why I'm going out of my comfort zone. And with Carlos Romero, who is a musician. At 5 o'clock on Saturday, I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman in that video, along with Carlos. So that is definitely, you know, one to watch. Saturday, 5 o'clock. and I'm going to be learning about music I've not heard before. And I just managed to play.
Man, are you gonna rap?
Well, no, I've decided I'm going to let Carlos ask about the music side of things, and then I'm going to ask about the social media side of things, because their YouTube channel, and this is what I found amazing, is that this month his YouTube channel, and we're only 8 days in, has had 3,000 new subscribers. He's got 100,000 people subscribed to his YouTube channel.
Just shy of 105k.
Yeah. So I'm going to concentrate on the social media side, because he's obviously got that one off, because he's I use the Social Blade on YouTube, which gives you all the analytics and the rankings. And I'm in the world, I'm number 3.5 million as far as YouTube users are concerned. He's number 27,000. Yeah. So this guy has got his YouTube side sorted. He's got to be doing some promotion somewhere. I mean, obviously he sings and I can't sing, but there's got to be something that I can find out about his.
Well, in the 20 seconds I heard of it, he doesn't sing. But
right. So just a quick. Sorry, I've been doing. What does this guy do?
He's a rapper.
Oh, he's a rapper. All right.
Yeah, that's why Stephen put the link in.
Yeah,
I didn't. Well, because I'm on this, I don't like going to the link when we're speaking.
He's called Calcium by the look of that, spelt with a K.
Indeed, Calcium. He's on Facebook as well, and I'm becoming a broadcaster for the Sea Pirate Network with Carlos at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Now, if that wasn't enough, I was approached by a brand.
All right.
A commercial brand, and they said, "What can we do to promote ourselves?" So I'm actually working on what is potentially a paying job out of all this.
Very
good.
Well done.
Yep. So all I can say is that Smile Time works. It's not for us because the arrangement's totally different. But
Smile Time.
Smile Time. Smile Time. Basically, it's
Smile Time.
It's simple and straightforward. You open an account with your Facebook page, Facebook login. You set up a channel. So I've got a channel called Stephen Healy, and then you press the go live button. And when you press go live, it says, "Do you want to go to Facebook?" And if you want to go to Facebook, you tick the box and you say, "Which page do you want to go to?" You can go to your timeline or any of the business pages you run, and you press the button, wait 30 seconds, and you're live on Smile Time and on Facebook. But if doing the next time I do that, I need a volunteer, not necessarily from here, to actually monitor the chat on Facebook, because when you're actually broadcasting, you can't do both. Because if you're typing answers on Facebook at the same time as you're broadcasting, then it just wouldn't work. But that's the way things are going to go. If you want to show and you want an audience, that's the way to go. Because I'm in several groups on Facebook, broadcasting groups.
Right.
And looking at the audiences that people are getting at the moment, they're lower than I'm going to mention it, our Blab days. People are struggling to find an audience. The audience is on Facebook. I can attest to that, and I can prove that. But then again, coming back to another thing, is that you only get an audience if people know about you.
That's it. I was just a way to ask.
Yeah. Now, this is key, and this goes back to, I'm going to mention the name Thomas Power here. Thomas Power started the academy with Penny, and Jon and I were members back in.
A lot of us knowing each other, really.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, Praise was observing the other day that, and we agree that hundreds of us still in contact with each other on a daily basis, which is absolutely brilliant. But I've lost the thread now. Where was I going?
Yeah, Thomas Power.
Right. The Thomas Power had long discussions with people about, does size matter? Does the size of your network matter? And it does. If you've only got 50 friends on Facebook, then there's only 50 people can actually see you. And of those, only 2 will probably see you because of where Facebook works. So if you've got thousands of contacts, then you've got a better chance. If you've got hundreds of contacts, you've got some chance. So the more contacts you have on Facebook and on Twitter, the more likely you are to be heard. And this is the problem that people are having. On Blab, people used to channel hop, and you could get an audience just by being on air, because it was so new, novel. Now you've got to fight for your audience, and the only way you can do that is by promoting, and you've got to have people to promote too.
Yeah. Okay.
So build an audience on Facebook, build an audience on
So
Twitter.
you've now got to start tweeting the fact that you're going to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the rest of it.
Build it up and build it up and build it up and see, I'm actually considering. I've told you this. I wondered where my DNA results were. Remember, I told you about that.
We're waiting for them, like you.
Yeah, so was I, and I phoned them up, and they says you haven't activated, and we cancelled this one. They sent me 2 by mistake, and what a nightmare. So I got back on them. It's America. It's actually run by, I believe it's the Mormons that run it.
Okay.
So Ancestry, and so I'm just waiting for my results to come back. I've set it up, and I was actually thinking of doing it live without me knowing what's in it, just to see where I'm from. I think it might be interesting, get a laugh out of it, or it might not be interesting. So yeah, so but I'm just thinking about networks, right? All networks I've done, and it's helped me in life, like for networking, very much still out there. And I still keep in touch with people through for networking, BNI. I know people throughout the country, but BNI, PSA, I know people throughout the country. See, now I don't do much work with that, but my BNI group, which the north of Scotland has recently been sold. The guys took it and they built it up big time. Now they've sold it to 2 of the other directors, or they're called, and they've actually got a 10-year plan for it, and a man and wife team, and so looking forward to that. And where was I? So through that, I want to get speakers to come to Aberdeen.
Yes.
So what I've done is I've spoke to them to maybe get a couple of speakers up, like say Nigel Risner and folk like that, get them up and get some leadership, motivation and stuff like that, which we don't get. It's stuff like that. So Toastmasters, spent at Birmingham airports. One day, a beautiful woman passed, and I was sitting with a guy. It was a bit of a bore. All he went to talk about was cockroaches. And this woman passed, and I says, "Excuse me, I know you." And she went, "Oh, how do you know me?" I says, "You've been up to Aberdeen." She says, "That's right." I says, "Toastmasters, you won." "That's right." And she was a comedian.
Right.
And I sat with her for 2 hours at the airport in Birmingham, coffees, chatted about this. But so networking is absolutely, it's vital. It's vital. You might not get work now, but you'll get it in the future. You just networking saved my life. Did I tell you that? Did I tell you that?
Nope.
I'll tell you a quick story. So my friend was in the army cadets together. We both joined the army. He went to Germany. I went to different regiments. And a few years ago, when I was down in my luck, I said, what am I going to do? I traced him, phoned him, and he says, "Have you still got your lorry driver's license?" And I goes, "Yeah." He said, "I'll get you a job here." And that's still a network of friends and tracing them. And another guy disappeared. He lives over in Lanzarote. If you're ever going there, he'll take you all around the place. Speaks fluent Spanish now. And I traced him because he disappeared. He was part of me. In fact, he built a network with me up here. Life went on. Traced him, and I found him, and I went over there, and I can actually say that he gave me one of the best holidays I've ever had, because he knew the place and he took me adventure scuba diving. He knew everything and really looked after us. But here's another story. Insurance, same guy. I said to him, "David," he's working away. So I says, "Over there, have you got insurance?" He goes, "Hey, listen, I've never been sick in my life." Then he disappeared, gone. Traced him again. I said, "Where have you been?" He said, "Lying in my back for 6 months." He fell off helping a builder or working with a builder. Luckily, he was employed at that time for him, and he got a Spanish insurance for his 6 months. Amazing, huh? He says, "I'm never sick," but he fell off a wall. Anyway. So that's networking, that's Pete's.
Right. The gang's all here. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning all.
Right, we've talked about everything this morning. Right, okay. And on Saturday, Stoke are playing Spurs. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear. What's that?
It's just that one occasion a couple of years ago there was a terrible incident in the context of terrible incidents on football. The fans weren't very happy with a player from the opposite side, and they had to take him off really and say just calm it and go off. But the fans were just—I shouldn't say so, I suppose, but the worst supporters I've ever seen in my life. But then again, that's what every team will say about every other supporters, team supporters.
Well, I think the Hall supporters are wonderful people, and they should come to Burnley on Saturday. They can enjoy their day out. They can go in Townley Park. They can visit all around. They can have a pint in a local pub, and they can go to Turf Moor, and they can spend an hour and a half there.
You might have something to say about that, Stephen.
You can go away. Burnley having won 3-0.
Okay, that's the aim. But no, we're a bit. We've got Jack Butland out for another 3 months, which is really bad news. Shaqiri's still out. We've got new guys coming in, but they're just taking time to bed in. So, but I was reminded by my brother the other day that there's only 3 matches played so far, and we've played some pretty good opposition and opposition who've just been promoted, so they're on a high. So yeah, happy days, maybe. But John, what about you? I forget your team. Forgive me. What they have?
Claret and Blue. Well, I don't know. Yesterday was a sad day for Villa people.
Why?
That Gordon Cowans.
Gordon Cowans. What did he do?
Gordon Cowans. Well, he was. He's been the academy manager for the last 18 years, but prior to that, he was one of our best ever players. He scored 59 times in 13 seasons, which for a defender is not a bad record.
Right. Yep.
But he's gone, and I think quite a lot of people are actually quite upset about it. But it's the old new broom sweeps clean thing, isn't it?
For sure.
Because he's 57, and I suspect at 57 he's going to struggle to find another position.
Yeah.
Never. He'll get a job.
He's only had one home, since he was a kid. Because he came up the Villa through the Villa Academy himself.
Yeah.
So he's been loyal to the club for 40 plus years.
Speaking about loyalty, did you see they took some Matt Busby's plaque and everything away from Manchester and sent it back to the family?
If you read it in different papers, you read different things.
No.
I've yet to see a definitive statement on it.
Okay, right. Well, basically, no more free tickets for the family.
No, it doesn't say that on their website. It says they've been moved to another part of the ground.
See?
Yeah. And I guess after this many years, it's 40 odd years, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps the link is somewhat tenuous these days.
Okay. Right, see? Different.
But I'm not a United fan anyway.
No, but there you go.
Have you seen the Manchester Secret the Manchester local TV secrets? I've got to find these. I'll post a link to one, and then from there you can I'll try. You can find the other ones.
Is it to do with football?
It is to do with football, so you probably won't care about it. But the local TV station, in conjunction with Radio Manchester, have produced some Pep and Jose cartoons.
Oh, right, okay.
And I have to say, I really like them.
All right.
Because they take the piss.
Well,
I'll post one in here, and at your leisure, you can have a look. There are 3 more.
Okay. It's the derby this weekend, isn't it?
Friday night, isn't it?
No, Friday.
I think it's Friday night.
Guardiola versus the man.
But honestly, I've really enjoyed watching these 4 cartoons. So
Right. Okay.
I can't believe they haven't been shown nationally.
Perhaps we can let them go viral.
Have you asked Stephen about cricket at all today?
We have mentioned the word cricket, but only to say that it's worse than tennis.
Right. I've got it. Just hands up here. We got beat. We got soundly beat by 9 wickets by Pakistan earlier this week. We didn't deserve to be anywhere near to it. T20 is, you've got to make the runs, and we didn't do that. But you know, you can't win them all. We're talking about that. Andy didn't win it, so you know you have an off day. I mean, a team that scored 444 runs last week got rid of for 120 this week. Go figure.
I got it wrong. It's the early match on Saturday.
Oh,
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fine.
12:30.
8 hours out.
We caught it on the replay, no doubt, on Saturday night. Did anybody still watch Match of the Day?
What's match of the day?
Oh, right. That's 4 resounding no's then.
To see Lineker in his underwear, but that didn't last more than 20 minutes anyway.
Right.
But I don't watch that.
I'm sported out, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We're not going to mention sport again. We'll
go back to school uniforms and marching around the playground if you want.
Someone new, the iPhone 7. What do you think about now having a lug piece for it?
Piece for it? Oh no, earpiece.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on,
It's about 800 quid's worth, I think, fully loaded.
Yeah.
800
And
quid.
you can't plug your headphones that you've spent £200 on buying Beats.
John, just use the connection that comes with it. Don't.
No, I'm sick of changing phones and everything. That's staying me. That's me. That's my.
Like your Nokia, Pete.
No, not at all. No phone.
It's
When
got
Nokia's around somewhere.
Nokia 3330.
One of the best things I got from Apple, and I went for Apple for it, 89 quid or something like that, right? And that's the battery backup, because I actually go through, I need a lot of battery power, and the iPhone 6 doesn't last me. I'm forever charging. So I got the double battery pack, which has worked out well.
Wow, we're showing off our tech.
Yeah.
I've recently bought I had a tube like that, Stephen, but I've recently bought for $19.99, 20 quid from Sainsbury's, a power pack that will recharge my phone 6 times.
Jesus, that's a fair amount of storage, isn't it?
Really?
I mean, it's much bigger than that, but I keep it in the car. Yeah, because charging in the car, it's hopeless. But this thing has a 2.4 amp output on it, whereas that little tube only has a 1.1 amp output, so
Right,
it'll take forever. So this recharges the entire phone in under 2 hours. I can do it 6 times on a
Well,
thing.
I've got another one.
I'm sorry, I've got this Nokia 301 if anybody wants it.
Pete, upgrade,
No,
mate,
not for me.
upgrade.
No,
This is what my wife uses because she uses it to make phone calls, and she might make 4 texts a month. She has 500 minutes, and they roll over, and she has something like 5,000 minutes currently because she never really uses it. But it's fine for that. But we've got this one because they sent us 2 when we upgraded last time round.
You know why, John? No bugger wants them.
They're only £45 to buy.
I got one of those with the big numbers from the partner. All the girls at her work, she's a nurse, so they were making a fool of her. She went to a smartphone now, but she doesn't know how to work it. But there you go. Right. Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, the whole show, Apple show last night, lasted 2 hours, and I had it on playing in the background. And some of it was impressive.
Some of it, the first hour of it, Steve, sorry to butt in.
Yeah, no, okay.
Was about Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
About Super Mario something or other. And it was like, and there was James Corden at the beginning of it doing one of these karaoke.
Yeah.
And it was just, what the hell are you playing at? It was just, it
James Corden,
Do you know what?
traffic
I was watching it for the hoped for announcement for a new MacBook, but it's not didn't come through. So we went out for a walk, and 45 minutes later, they were still banging on about the bloody iPhone, which I love the product, but I think, oh god, it looks lovely, of course it does, and even if it is rubbish or whatever, I'll still buy the damn thing because I've got no choice. I'm emotionally
You've been caught in the spider's web.
Absolutely, yes, John. I'm a proud captive.
Well, I was Samsung and I went back to iPhone. I just think it's a steady product. I know you have to pay for it.
You mean by that the batteries don't explode, Peter?
What do you mean? No. Before that, I had no problem with the batteries, but
you know that the Samsung 7 something or other.
It's the Note.
Eh?
Only the Note. And it's only
the Note. Only 2.5 million of them are being recalled because of the fear of battery explosion.
Yeah.
Only.
But Apple are not the one to talk about this topic because we have exploding batteries on MacBooks for about 3 years, and we're talking about 13 or 14 million exploding battery potential. So Apple. I've actually been to number one.
Finest equipment in the world, John. Finest equipment in the world.
Have you been to Apple, John?
I have. A very, very long time ago in the early 1980s when they weren't particularly big, but they were still at number one Infinite Loop then.
Yeah.
I went to see Sourcim, Micros Backwards. Do you remember Sourcim with SuperCalc?
SuperCalc, I remember.
I visited Sourcim to sign the contract to put SuperCalc on the Apricot PC.
Jeez.
And while I was there, the fellow said, "Have you ever been to Apple?" Because they were five blocks away. So they took me to Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Those were the days, pioneering days.
They were, weren't they? They were the Wild West days as well.
The Sirius and the Apricot and the IBM PC.
The ACT 800 was the thing that came before the Sirius.
Yeah.
I was on that project team as well. And I went to California to work with a company called CompuThink, who launched this PET compatible. And we sold the PET compatible in the UK as the ACT 800.
I remember that too.
I then became the product manager for the ACT Sirius 1.
I had one of those.
And I had a tremendous experience. I went over as technical representative of the UK distributor to a meeting in the US. And they sat there talking about how could they make this 8088 base machine Z80 compatible. And in the end, I had to ask what a Z80 was, because I didn't know they pronounced Z as Z. It's my first ever visit to the US.
Huzzah! HUZZA.
There are 2 TV programs on in the States, obviously. One about the early days of a kind of the first guys to do a portable laptop. It's called Crash and Burn.
Adam Osborne.
Eh?
Adam Osborne was the first portable.
Yeah.
Luggable, transportable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Lorry transportable would be more accurate.
And then there's another one on Sky or something, HBO maybe, which talks about the culture of Silicon Valley today. And so the differences between the two cultures from the late, what would it be, mid-80s? Late 80s, I don't know.
I spent quite a lot of time in the Valley over the early, including the best part of 6 months in a single stay over there.
Why didn't you stay?
Why didn't I stay? I hadn't been married that long and came home. To be truthful with you, a single incident put me off. We were in a mall to go and get some beer, to sit in the hot tub with the this is January we're talking about, and we'd sit in the hot tub and drink beer. And we went to the mall to get some there, and there was a drunk, not hurting anybody. in the UK, you'd probably have given him a couple of quid, yeah, and said, you know, go and get yourself a meal or something. Somebody had obviously complained about him. 2 cops came along. They told him to move along. He was so drunk he couldn't stand up, so they hit him with batons. And after that, I was determined I'd never live there.
Yeah.
And also, having visited Motorola a lot in Chicago and in, God blimey, my brain's gone dead. It doesn't really. Phoenix, Arizona. There's the words I was looking for. Filthy places. Disgusting. You know, we say we have poor areas in the UK. Honestly, compared with some of the disgusting suburbs that both of those cities have, our standard of living is much higher than some of those. Honestly, they're just disgusting places, and human life doesn't matter.
Blimey, John.
It doesn't matter. In certain parts of the state, honestly, it is so terrible. You cannot imagine it till you see it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some TV programs like that, and I've always thought America had a land, and then when you see the background,
yeah. When we launched the ACT Apricot, the very first twin floppy version, I was also product manager on that, but I was actually project manager for software, and I visited Microsoft a lot. And I went also, whilst I was over in Seattle, to a place called Spokane to see Cherry, the keyboard manufacturer, who aren't there any longer. They've moved to the Far East now. And it's the cleanest place I've ever been in the States. And I've been to quite a lot of the States over the years. And this little town, Spokane, just south of the Canadian border, cleanest, nicest place I've ever been. And I could live there, but I couldn't live in California. There's no value to things. I certainly couldn't live in Chicago. There's no value to life.
Leave you for 2 minutes, guys.
Okay, Peter.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Well, it's a land of contrasts, isn't it?
It is. That's the word. That's a great word.
Yeah.
But you know what? You've got that over here as well. Like back in the 90s or 80s, something like that. I was working in Harborne, near you, John.
Yeah. Harborne is one of the richest areas of Birmingham.
That's right. But you walk across the road and you're not in such a nice area. And it's like that in Stoke, and I'm sure it's like it is where you are, Stephen. But
Devizer's not. We're not big enough. We're a population of 7,000, so we don't have the areas. Well, we probably have a couple of streets you wouldn't go, but not areas.
I remember.
We even have a section of Solihull. It isn't anywhere near as bad as it used to be.
Chelmsley Wood.
Well, not Chelmsley Wood. You've got to be careful about using that. Chelmsley Wood is a very big place. Chelmsley Wood is effectively a third of the borough.
Right.
Okay. But there are sections of Chelmsley Wood that you'd think twice about. But even they've been improved dramatically. You see, Chelmsley Wood is a bit of a dump place. And I don't mean that as an insult to people who live in the Chelmsley Wood area, because my daughter lives in the area that Chelmsley Wood encompasses. And where she lives isn't too bad. But what happened was in 1970, the city of Birmingham started building Chelmsley Wood, the main Chelmsley Wood central area. And what they did was they knew that there were major boundary changes coming up in 1974. So they took all the residents who didn't pay, who were awkward, who were difficult, and they shoved them all in Chelmsley Wood. And in 1974, the government moved Chelmsley Wood to become part of Solihull. That isn't because I'm a Silhillian that I feel, bad about Birmingham and that, but that's just fact. Yeah, they created a dump area and then passed it on to somewhere else.
I remember a story back because I used to work for Solihull Council's IT bunch, and apparently whenever Princess Diana landed at Birmingham Airport, she was greeted off the plane by the mayor of Solihull, And then when she got through to arrival, she was greeted by the mayor of Birmingham.
Yeah.
With I think Birmingham Airport is owned by, or was owned by, Solihull Council.
No, the land is in Solihull. The airport was owned by Birmingham. In fact, they've actually sold their share. And they've also sold their share of the NEC as well, because they couldn't make the books balance without doing it. They retain a very tiny minority in both things. Minority. But at one stage, they owned a third of both items. But to balance the books, they've sold those shares.
Right. Now, another topic this week. Theresa May has stamped her foot and said, we want to have grammar schools back. Your thoughts? I mean, I went to a grammar school, so I'm most definitely biased.
I went to a grammar school.
Right. Okay. Now, her argument is that when we all took the 11 plus, yeah, and we went to the school, it didn't matter what background you had. If you could pass the 11 plus, you went to grammar school. Now they're saying that basically people are buying places at the best schools by moving into certain areas, and she's saying that what you've got is property is determining which schools you go to, and it's a circular, it's a thing which feeds itself, because the more popular school becomes, the more people buy houses, and so should grammar schools make a comeback?
It depends on how places are allocated. If places are allocated on ability, then I think yes. If places are allocated on area, I think no. And all our grammar schools were turned into comprehensives in Solihull, and then just allocated by area. And the school I went to is not the school it was. Its results are crap by comparison. Mind you, I didn't contribute very well because I only had 2 O levels when I left. The college sorted.
I've got to contrast that story and say that when I was a lad, there was Nelson Grammar School and there was Edge End Technical. So you either went to the grammar school or technical school. Those are 2 big schools in town. And those 2 schools are now merged onto the one site, which is where the grammar school was. And there is a state-of-the-art college there now, from 11 to 18. And the equipment they've got there, it's incredible. If you get a chance, just Google Nelson and Nelson schools, and you'll see it. They've got a video showing it all off. So the situation at the moment is that you theoretically get the school you choose.
Well, that doesn't happen in Solihull. There's a big bun fight every year about not being enough places, even when you're in the catchment area.
Have you got a right to be educated locally, no matter what? Do they have to find you a place locally for your kids?
Well, in Birmingham, which is even worse than Solihull, you get people even taking the local education authority, the city council, in other words, to court to try and obtain a place. Because there are places where the population is so dense that people cannot get a local place. And it used to be that if you had a sibling at the school, you automatically got a place at the school. That doesn't happen anymore either. So you can have parents who are taking children to school, and I'm talking not at senior level here, but at perhaps junior school level, and the junior schools can be 3, 4 or 5 miles apart. It's got to be ridiculous.
Sure.
We're just talking about grammar schools, Peter.
Yeah, my kids went to a school called the grammar school. And so it's actually a school, and you say that you went there, even though you didn't have a great results, the fact that you went there was good for you, you know. But there's a lot of that in Aberdeen as well. People try to get to the best schools by saying they're staying with their granny and things like this, and it's just a nightmare, you know. Why don't they make the schools good enough and basically everybody's the same?
On Sky News early doors this morning, there was a Liberal Democrat saying that we should make our schools the best they can be. What do you think, Stephen?
It's easy for them to say, isn't it? They had the chance with when they're in coalition with the Tories. And have you seen there's been a report about Nick Clegg's memoirs? And then there was Holly Toynbee in The Guardian was saying that Nick Clegg had been an absolute bloody disaster for the Liberals because they didn't stamp on the Tories when it came to the university fees. And they had the chance to make, and that's the one thing that did for him. Absolutely is the one thing that did for him.
Yeah.
But, is it the case that Theresa May is saying that there is effectively already selection by wealth?
That's what she's saying, and she's saying that's happening, and the better comprehensives are becoming, well, the most popular ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had the situation. What were these special places called that Cameron created? These high-tech thingies.
Academy.
Was it Academy?
Academy was a Blair thing, wasn't it?
Was it Blair? All right, started by Blair. Yeah. Okay. I credit to him there. I mean, that was to get the best for the best, wasn't it?
It's just another school round here with a catchment area.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think weren't they to do with businesses taking over failing schools?
Yeah.
Well, they had that in
Hold on. Get it.
This is a live show.
His doorbell's just gone off. They had that in Birmingham, but we've ended up where religion has taken over those companies, taken them over. And they've gone back in. Many of them have gone back into local education authority management. Well, they've gone in and they've appointed their own head.
Blimey. I suppose it's. But then again, as I said, it's just a different way of selecting people, isn't it? And if you've got money, you'll get in anyway. You find a way. It sounds like it's probably unfair, but. No, I don't know. My kid's such a long time since my hello woofer.
The window cleaners arrived.
Oh dear. Well, my three all went to the same school, and a vast differing array of results, but they've all got, well, I can't say they've all got jobs because the middle one isn't unemployed at the moment, but unemployed by his own choice. They all did well out of it, and it was, just an ordinary everyday comprehensive.
So my cousin's a teacher. Well, the two of them are teachers, and I think he hates the system where, in his day, you see, he went to university with a grant, and he says it was for the people that really were intelligent enough to go to university. Yeah, he said, but nowadays they're just letting anybody into university. In Scotland, anyway. He says it's so easy to go to university now. He says before it was for the people who were capable of it. And even nurses go to university now. What's all that?
Nurses have gone to university for 30 plus years.
But they haven't needed a degree, have they, for 30 years?
Cannot be a staff nurse unless you have a degree.
Bloody hell.
The highest level you can rise to without a degree is a healthcare assistant, which is what my daughter is.
That's your reaction.
And my daughter's been told that she's good enough to go on to be a proper nurse and to go and do a degree, which, considering she left school with 0 GCSEs, and I'm serious, she didn't get any GCSEs, but she went down the vocational route, and she became a children's nurse is not the right word, but she became children's there, and she built up a vocational education and then went to work for the health service. But she doesn't want to do it because from this September they have to take a grant as opposed to get a bursary, and she just financially cannot afford it.
Yeah, but my partner became, well, she's standing ward manager. She doesn't have a degree. Mind you, she was old.
But that respect, that was probably a while back, Peter.
Yeah.
Today, you can be a ward clerk without a degree. You can be a healthcare assistant without a degree. You cannot even be a staff nurse, which is the lowest level of nurse.
Aye, that's right.
Without a degree.
And they walk in and they walk in and say, I'm a student, right? Yeah, but I'm a student nurse. And I say, well, go and clean that woman's bottom. Oh, I'm not here to do that.
Do you know what a stoma is?
Oh God.
We're about to find out.
A stoma is, you know, you have a bag up here to collect.
Oh, yes.
A stoma is a bag that collects the back end's product.
Yeah.
On the first day there, my daughter was taken in to help clean a lady with a stoma. She collapsed and fainted. But they took her out and they said, took her to the staff room, because they do have a staff room, and she had a drink, and they said, look, we'll get someone to take you home. And she said, no, I'm going back in. I can't not go back in. If I don't go back in now, I'll never go in again. But the very first day, she fainted when confronted with the stoma.
Lovely.
It just shows you, does it? But yeah, so it's more academic now than hands-on. This is what they're not.
No, because it becomes hands-on, because you have to spend a year in a hospital.
That's right.
To get the degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is hands-on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because my daughter's done almost a year as an HCA now, she's actually allowed to bypass that year in house. So she could get her degree in 2 years instead of the 3.
Yeah. In fact, there is a lot of what we call auxiliaries up here who have went on to become nurses, but they've got to go and do a degree.
An auxiliary is what is the same as we call a HCA down here, a healthcare assistant.
But do you need a degree for it, to be honest? Do you need a degree to be a nurse?
Well, I've had a lot of experience of being in hospitals, not as an individual, but you know, because I'm very fortunate that my local hospital has a 10 till 10 visiting policy. So you can arrive at 10 o'clock in the morning and leave at 10 o'clock at night if you so desire. The only condition is that if the patient has to be fed, you have to help. That's the only condition of staying during feeding time. And I have had a lot of experience, and my experience is that the vast majority of what they do is turn and clean. Mm-hmm. But they don't use a staff nurse to do that work unless there are not enough HCAs, healthcare assistants. Yeah. And the staff nurse now hands out drugs and needs to know that the right drug is being given, the reason why it's being given you. So to a degree, I can see why they need a degree.
Yeah, okay. I know that
from a medical perspective.
I know the drug round, yeah. Oh, well.
Now, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody because, unfortunately, I have a meeting at 12 o'clock with my mum's consultant, and I don't think it's going to be a good meeting. So,
okay, well, that seems a good point on which to close the show. Well, a point on which to close the show, John. Is okay. It's been a pleasure, Peter and Stephen, and we look forward to everybody being together next week. And thank you, Kevin and Dan, and
anyone else watched.
Indeed, to our audience, to our fans everywhere around the world, watching on the replay.
And I hope you found it more exciting than watching paint dry.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.
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 Bye.